What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little overview of my two rank 4 7-star champions. My first two ever rank 4 7-star champions. My first ever rank 4 was Onslaught. So I got this from the 3 to 4 gem from Epoch, and I immediately took up Onslaught. I knew exactly who I wanted to take if I got a mutant gem, and Onslaught is my first ever rank 4, and he's actually Sig 200 as well, so he is fully maxed out, the highest he can possibly be. And then my second ever rank 4, ironically, on the same day she was made available in the game, I took her all the way to rank 4. It was none other than She-Hulk. Of course, She-Hulk was going to be the first rank 4 that I had any uh, agency over, that I had a choice over, because, you know, a random gem or a Nexus Crystal, you don't have a lot of choice in that. It's up to RNG, but with the materials, the Tier 7 basic that I was able to pick up from the Valentine's Day sale, I was able to choose another rank 4, and of course, it was going to be She-Hulk. And as you can see, she is unawakened. I plan to keep her unawakened. I know I'm a little strange in that regard. I just prefer not having to deal with some of the annoyances that some of her signature ability attributes bring. I just rather not have to deal with them at all because I like She-Hulk as she is at her base. So this video is super simple. I'm just going to do some gameplay with each of my rank 4 champions. No boosts, no synergies. This is just my rank 4 7 stars having a good time cruising through Realm of Legends. I don't typically do like solo Realm of Legends content, but for my rank 4s, you know, both of them have the capability of handling everything here without any sort of specific synergies, even though, you know, there's not a lot to worry about in Realm of Legends itself. But yeah, you know, the first fight here, Winter Soldier, is great for Onslaught's class advantage, and then the next 2 or 3 fights can be done by She-Hulk, so on and so forth. So, rank 4 Sig 200 Onslaught is an absolute menace. You're going to do the same rotation as you normally do, build up to your 10 Daunted, build up to your 20 Neuroshock, get to your Special 2, and already you can see the base damage is pretty high, pretty substantial. So now we throw the Sinister Relic, Heavy Cancel into Special 2, 31,000 damage per tick, and Winter Soldier is dead before he can even throw a special attack. So if I got some more crits there, he would have been dead during that Special 2. So it's just wild, man. It is just wild how insanely high the damage is for Onslaught. And then She-Hulk. She has only been a 7-star for a couple of days now. It hasn't even been like a full week of She-Hulk existing as a 7-star. And now I have her at 7-star rank 4. I don't know if I was the first person to take her to rank 4. I hope I was. I can try and get that confirmed at some point. But I really hope I was the first person to take her up to rank 4, because that would be a very nice accomplishment for me and very fitting for She-Hulk and I in our relationship. But 7-star She-Hulk, as you can see, the fight has barely started here, and Captain Marvel's already down to 60% of her health. We're hitting 30k mediums. The Relic is gaining the attack increase from the Furies, and we're going to go for a Special 2 here, and if it crits, Captain Marvel should be dead. Yeah, 65k crit there, and then go for a little stand-up, and that's Captain Marvel in 39 seconds. The fight barely started, and this is the worst matchup for She-Hulk because your Furies only last 8 seconds against small champions. So one thing about She-Hulk that maybe people don't know is her Fury duration is based on the size of the opponent. So large and extra large champions, the Furies last longer, up to 12 seconds against extra large champions, but against small and medium champions, the Furies are a lot shorter in duration. The base duration is 8 seconds, so against small champions, it is 8 seconds. And then I believe it's either 8, 9, 10, 12, or like 8, 9, 11, 12. I'm not sure what the increase is, but it goes up to 50%. So at max size against the opponent, it's a 12-second duration for the Fury. So Juggernaut is a fantastic matchup for She-Hulk because not only can she capitalize on the class advantage, but Juggernaut has Unstoppable. And if you're not familiar with what She-Hulk does to Unstoppable, not only can she inflict a slow debuff, but she can remove Unstoppable with her heavy attack and gain a massive Fury passive from that. So She-Hulk's normal Fury passives increase her attack rating by 35%. She-Hulk's Unstoppable removal Fury passives increase her attack rating by 70%. Another great thing about She-Hulk is her heavy attack can't be interrupted if the opponent is unstoppable. 137k crit with only 5 Furies. So, in fights like this, it only takes her just a couple of Furies to get going, and again, that was 38 seconds with class advantage, you know? Juggernaut was being a little stingy there with the special attacks, but regardless, that was still an insane fight. I'll use her for this fight, and then I'll use Onslaught for the next couple of fights. But, yeah, she's just ridiculous. She scales so well as a 7-star. Just a couple of Furies, and you really notice a monumental attack increase. And I've been playing She-Hulk for so long. She's my favorite character in the game. So it was only fitting that I were to bring her to the max possible rank as a 7-star. And I cannot wait to use her in content going forward. I really am excited. Another great thing about She-Hulk is the taunt that comes from her Furies. Obviously, it's not super effective in Realm of Legends because the AI is super passive. But in content where the AI is not supposed to just stand there and walk around, the taunt is very strong, and you just have so much control. And that's Rhino gone in probably around 50 seconds. Yeah, he wasn't being super cooperative there, but even then, it doesn't matter. Just complete and utter special lockdown, total control over the matchup. Feels pretty good. Feels really good. And yeah, Onslaught, I mean, it's sort of self-explanatory. Onslaught, in my opinion, is the best champion in the entire game, as of right now. It's hard to argue that, just because of how much ground he covers, and how ridiculously powerful he is on offense and defense. You know, I don't say Onslaught's like the best defender in the game anymore. At a time, I think he probably was, but then, you know, Bullseye came out, Serpent came out, and they sort of took over that crown that Onslaught was holding on to for a little while. But I think Onslaught's pretty fair. I mean, there's a certain way you need to play around him, and if you don't play around him in that certain way, then you're going to get punished for it. In more ways than one sometimes, especially if you're magnetic and you don't have a way around the magnetism. Yeah, it can be pretty punishing. But yeah, now we have that degen ticking for almost 7,000 damage per tick. We're going to throw this heavy attack into a special one, and before the special one even finishes, Storm is already gone. Yeah, Storm is already gone. I'm super excited to use these two champions in a wide variety of content. Onslaught's basically universally viable. She-Hulk, honestly, at rank 4, probably the same thing. You can't really use She-Hulk in class disadvantage matchups, except if you have the Titania and Mr. Fantastic synergies. Then you can use her in class disadvantage matchups, and it feels fine. So maybe I'll show off what that looks like at the end of this, or maybe I'll just restart Realm and go for that. Just show you what the class disadvantage situation looks like for her. But she can't normally take class disadvantage fights, but with that synergy team, she can actually handle them relatively okay. It's not the best, but it is viable, you know? You're obviously going to want to use champions that can work against skill champions, like Onslaught. You know, you want to use champions that will actually work for the class. But if for some reason you needed to use She-Hulk, she can work. And that should be Vision done after this medium here. Yeah, 42k medium with only 10 Furies. Again, these fights are barely getting going. She doesn't have any runway to build up, you know, 25, 30, 35 Furies. Because the fights are just over. The fights are just over before they can even start. We have another class advantage matchup here. And it's just the same thing, man. Onslaught and She-Hulk are incredible. Absolutely incredible. I know the She-Hulk pick is going to ruffle a few feathers, and people are going to be very intrigued by that decision for rank 4. But if you know me and you know the channel, then you absolutely understand why it had to be She-Hulk over anybody else. Really solid Neuroshock RNG here. I was actually considering just skipping the special one, but it makes sense to go for it to build up the additional Neuroshock, so I have some triggering after the special 2 conversion. So now I need one more parry, going for a full 5-hit combo into the Relic. You ideally want to throw a Relic before your special 2 because of that precision passive, where your special 2 can hopefully crit. Only one crit there, but doesn't matter, he still died within the special 2. No damage taken. Onslaught has a high block proficiency at his base. I believe it's in the 70s. Yeah, 76% block proficiency at his base. So perfect parries are no problem for Onslaught. He lands them constantly. So this matchup might not be great for She-Hulk because there is some power drain and like weakness potentially happening here with Scarlet Witch. But if we get lucky, then we can kill her pretty fast. Another thing about Scarlet Witch is she is a hashtag small champion. So we have the lowest amount of duration on the Furies for She-Hulk. But so far she's playing into us. There's the power drain that I was worried about. Let me see if I can just get a combo going here. Try to get a refresh. Nice. Tactically getting hit there. And the Relic should be able to finish her off. Yeah, there we go. So that was Scarlet Witch down in the same amount of time as all the other fights. So now let's use She-Hulk against Wolverine. Even smaller health pool, but Wolverine does regenerate, and then we can use Onslaught for maybe the last 2 fights. One great thing about She-Hulk that I'm going to show you right now is she has access to some power control utility outside of her special 1. And I'm going to show off what that looks like in just a second here. So obviously, when you're not throwing your special 1s, you're not building up Furies nearly as often as you would be, but you still have that base chance on all of your hits to trigger the Fury, and that is enough for most matchups. But not doing that, not going for your special 1, allows you to go for your special 2, which inflicts a hardy Petrify debuff on the opponent for, I think, 15 seconds. And that is a 115% Petrify. So not only is it stopping healing, but it is also reversing healing as well. So we're just hoping that Wolverine procs some regen here, so I don't waste the duration of the Petrify. And again, it's not an insane amount of healing that is reversed, but with regen as high as Wolverine's, you definitely notice the red numbers going down. And I didn't throw a single special 1 in that matchup, and it was still 55 seconds for 400,000 health with that much regen. Pretty nuts, pretty nuts. So we're rounding off here. Probably use Onslaught for this guy, and then She-Hulk for the next fight, because it is Hulk, so we will have the full duration on the passive Furies. Throw off a special 1 here. The good thing about Black Bolt in Realm is it is the old Black Bolt, so if you push him to special 2, he has that recoil, so he takes off 5% of his own health pool after throwing special 2. He might not even throw one in this matchup, but we'll see. Alright, let's go for the Relic. Get the heavy attack off. 18 degens. Hopefully we can do some crits and get that up to 20. Okay, 19. That's fine enough. One more heavy attack. Throw the special 1 immediately. And Black Bolt's gone. And this is just Realm of Legends. I mean, I haven't taken any of these guys outside of She-Hulk. I took her into a Necropolis fight on the Valentine's Day livestream. But I haven't taken these champs anywhere, like, super significant yet. This is just to show off, hey, here's their damage. Here's them at rank 4. So, again, here's the full Fury duration for Hulk here. Another nice thing about She-Hulk is that the stun duration is actually increased by 50% as well, depending on the opponent's size. So, you saw that I went for a double medium parry there. You can do that against large and extra large champions because of her stun duration increase from champion tag size. So it's pretty nice. 7 Furies in, and Hulk is already down halfway, already down almost 300,000 health. Gonna try to go for a nice special 2 here, but I honestly might kill him before I get to it. Nice 152k crit to finish this fight off. 43 seconds for 550,000 health. Pretty nice, man. So one last thing I want to show you guys with She-Hulk specifically is her interaction with Mr. Fantastic and Titania on the team. And I'm going to show you 2 fights with Mr. Fantastic. One with class disadvantage and then one with class advantage. So She-Hulk with the Titania synergy, I'll show you right now what the synergy is. She deals a burst of physical damage equal to 75% of her base attack for each debuff on the opponent. There is no cap to that number, so it's each debuff on the opponent regardless of if it's a duplicate debuff or what have you. So, with Mr. Fantastic on the team, you can immediately apply 3 debuffs to the opponent. Plus, your parry stun counts as a 4th debuff, and if you can apply your slow, that's a 5th debuff. But in this matchup, we don't have the slow. But it honestly doesn't matter, because Winter Soldier's already down 10%, and the fight's barely started. The heavy attacks without the stun are dealing 17,000 damage. The heavy attacks with the stun are dealing 23,000 damage. So it's pretty substantial. You're dealing basically 40,000 damage per heavy, and with the stun, it's almost 50,000 damage, because you have to include the heavy attack hit damage itself. And then if you want more damage, just throw a special 2 or a special 1, get an additional debuff going, and then it's just a parry heavy Fiesta, and Winter Soldier is dead. That's it. So, it's not the best. It works, though. It definitely works, and that was class disadvantage. Let me show you what it looks like with class advantage. Just crazy stuff. Really crazy stuff. I'll probably make an entire dedicated video about this synergy, just showing off how many places that you can use it in. It's pretty ridiculous. This trio, Mr. Fantastic, Titania, She-Hulk, is incredibly strong. So now, we're dealing 30,000 damage per hit of the heavy, not including the heavy attack damage itself. So, including the heavy attack damage, you're probably looking at 70,000 damage per heavy. We're 8 hits into this fight. Now we just heavy spam against the wall, and Captain Marvel is gone. She's gone. That was it. 23 seconds for that fight. Faster than She-Hulk normally, and I wasn't even capitalizing on my Furies or the Power Sting. That was just the damage from the Titania synergy and the Mr. Fantastic debuffs. So, pretty ridiculous stuff, and honestly, just makes me so happy that she's a 7-star now, because she's my girl, and I cannot wait to use her in content going forward, because, boy, am I going to have a blast with this. So, that is all I wanted to show off for this video. Thank you all very much for watching. Be sure to keep an eye out on the channel for a Rank 4 Deathless She-Hulk introduction video. Probably just going to run through Realm of Legends like I just did with my Onslaught and my regular She-Hulk, but just letting you know that that video will be on its way at some point. So, thank you again very much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Peace.